Hey, Wade.
Sir.
Where are we going?
Going to S&S Diesel, bud.
What for?
Talk about our DCR pump conversion that we did. We're going to nerd around in the fuel shop, and basically we're going to have a good day.
I'm Wade McGinnis for Thoroughbred Diesel. This is Luke Langelier, co-owner of S&S Diesel Motorsports, and we got the opportunity to install a DCR pump that is brand new from S&S Diesel. You guys have probably watched tons of videos on this. This is honestly, I've been in light duty diesel space 17 years now. I think this is honestly the most highly anticipated product I've ever been around release, and I know you've got a lot of pride in it and a ton of your life work in this. The truck that we did the DCR conversion on, this truck was actually what was in our early model DPK, our CP4 bypass video from S&S Diesel. We did it on this truck. This is one of our inside sales ladies that works with us. It's her husband's truck. So it kind of came full circle for us when we got the opportunity to do the DCR installation. We worked all day before yesterday, and yesterday got the pump in and came straight here. We're about 2 hours and 15 minutes from S&S, which is awesome. So we were able to buzz up here, bring our data logs up for Luke and the guys to look at and check everything out. Just a couple quick words on the installation. This install is very straightforward, very easy. The pump fitment in the truck honestly feels like the truck was made this way, that the motor was designed around the DCR pump around it, which was amazing to me. We really didn't have any problems at all in installation. All of the fit and finish, and S&S has done, I'll let Luke talk about this. They've worked so hard to get the fit and finish of this to be as close to OE as it can, and this really shines not only in the pump that they've chosen for this application, but also in the low side supply and return lines, the fit and finish on those. So I'm gonna quit rambling on it just a little bit. The cool thing about this truck, not only we had the CP4 bypass, we left the return filter on this. You don't have to do that. We did. That works just fine with this kit, and everything else was pretty much seamless. So I'm gonna quit rapping about this and let Luke talk on whatever he wants to, because I know he's done a ton of interviews. They've asked him pretty well the same set of questions and everything. I really just wanted to see, this, for me, the conversations that you and I had as buddies. I'm texting you and I'm drawing shit out on napkins and sending it to you. I'm like, hey man, we really need to get a CP3 conversion, and I was pushing on him. And the whole time he never says anything to me through the last year and a half. He's never said, hey, I got something cooking. And then all of a sudden about February, he's like, hey, you're gonna like what we got at Farm Machinery Show. So let Luke take it away and tell you a little bit about this.
Yeah, that's great feedback to hear, honestly, on the install. That it was pretty seamless, that it was OE-like. That's what we've been working hard on. Our teams here and teams at Pure Power, Sanodyne, trying to make it as OE-like as what you expect. OE-like, but with better than OE durability. Right. So the low pressure lines, supply and return, like you say, the quick connects, all that kind of stuff. We've really diligently worked on trying to make it be seamless install, leak-free, and really just a solid professional package. That's why it's taken longer to get to market than what we would have liked, and that some of our dealers and customers, and maybe longer than what some other aftermarket products would get there, but we really took our time to make sure it is a professional product. So happy to hear that the install went well, and I'm sure you guys are going to turn out an awesome install video just like you do on all the rest of the stuff. So appreciate you being a good partner on that too. Check out their install videos for this product and others. It's super helpful. I know you guys have got a big following in that regard.
Thank you guys for that. You wound up going to bat and saying one part number through the current trucks. You were saying 22 right now. 23, you're going to have that finished up to know whether it'll work on the 23s as well too.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. One of the biggest changes, so at the farm show, when you came to the farm show, we did some interview stuff there. We had originally done 11 to 19 is what we had announced for fitment. We were sandbagging the whole time. We'd had them on 2020 and up trucks the whole time, but we wanted to be on the conservative side. 2020 and up trucks can run at higher rail pressure, at high load, at high RPM. They don't spend much time there, but we wanted to be sure that we were comfortable with the pump at the higher pressure. And so in that amount of time between February and now, it's been lots of durability testing, lots of vehicle testing, lots of data logging, all that kind of stuff, flogging and beating these things at high pressures and abusive conditions to make sure that we're happy with it. And honestly, the truck spends such little time up there. We've been doing data logging on worst case truck conditions, huge trailers, heavy towing through the mountains and everything, and they still spend like single digit % of time at high pressure. So we're comfortable with it, and that's why we announced here, at UCC there last week, hey, we're going to go ahead and cover all model years with one kit.
CP3 pumps were what we were all banging on. We were wanting CP3. CP3 just won't go in the valley. You just couldn't get it done. If anybody's going to get it done, you were going to get it done. So a couple of points that we've made on, you and I have talked about on the DCR pump. So the DCR pump, kind of a back history on the pump. It's actually an overseas pump. Not seen as much in platform stateside, mostly overseas. You don't run into as much ULSD overseas. This is proven to be as much of a robust pump as a CP3. But that's the thing about CP3. CP3s are dang near bulletproof. And this pump, with what it comes from, the crappy fuel that it's come from and in its homelands, it does just fine.
So the base architecture, the base pump is used on other applications, heavy duty engines, actually, not even more light duty like these, but the base pump is used in India, China, Europe, other applications on heavy duty stuff. So that's why that pump currently, the base pump is produced in a Standardine facility in China that's a super advanced manufacturing facility, because we've basically created a U.S. market for this thing now. We are ramping up production in the U.S. and actually we'll be starting to have some built within the next month or two stateside. So, but it made sense at the time. They were manufactured where most of the demand was for it, and now U.S. manufacturing is important to us, and we want to have as much control over the sourcing and everything as possible. So we're moving it. The Standardine group and Pure Power's been doing a great job, diligently working on getting manufacturing ramped up here in the U.S. as well. So, but I have no concerns. There's a big difference in manufacturing quality between certain things in certain areas, and the manufacturing and quality control and between where they're made and the facilities is top notch. So we wouldn't put our name behind it if we didn't have the most confidence in it, and it is a stout, robust pump. You mentioned fuel quality stuff. There's been a lot of durability testing on JP8 also with these. JP8, for those that don't know, is military fuel typically. So a lot of the military operations want to use like one fuel type. They don't want to have kerosene and diesel and this and that. So their generators, their boats, their everything want to run on JP8 usually, which is a pretty thin, fairly aggressive fuel. It's kind of hard on stuff, low lubricity. So this pump has gone against other variants with JP8 abusive testing, and it's done amazing actually. Even the pumps that we think are bulletproof, CP3s and Denso HP4s are actually decent pumps. This has come out looking far better than those after a lot of abusive low lubricity testing. So that and lots of other reasons is why we're highly, highly confident in it.
I think Standardine for us, around fuel systems every day, the first thing we think of is old DB pumps. I don't know that people that really realize what kind of common rail capability that Standardine, naturally had. Well, we're able to build a pump that was pretty robust anyway, even in mechanical injection. So, quality and durability is something that they've always hung their hat on. From a fuel standpoint, for sure.
In the U.S., most of the OEs in the U.S. are pretty tied to who they're working with. You know what I mean? Whether that's Bosch or Denso or in-house fuel systems or whatever that is, that's a long-standing. We get that question sometimes. Well, how come this wasn't the OE pump for Ford originally, or for Cummins, or for whoever, right? Well, there's a lot more to it than that. There's long-standing contracts. There's a lot of history. There's a lot going into those OEs and who they're working with. You don't just flip back and forth, and it's really difficult to get into those markets. So,
development of this pump. Can you talk to people just a little bit about what was the biggest What was the biggest hurdle that you had to go through? Was it, you know, cam development for proper, and you'll see this in our installation video. This retains the stock CP4 cam in this installation. So what was your biggest hurdle that you came up here with, Luke? Was it cam development for integration of that, or getting the FCA lined up to play nice? Because this is a no-tune kit. This is drop in. You don't have to do a thing, ready to go.
Yeah, no tuning required, emissions compliant. It's, you know, easy drop in. Combination of everything, I guess. It took a lot to get the fitment just right. You know, the lines, making sure that we're adapting to every model year, because the low pressure sensors, some are a sensor plus a pressure switch, some are a combo sensor, temp and pressure, some's a combo pressure with a different thread. So the kit comes with bosses plus adapters to be able to meet any model year. But probably some of the main technical challenges is one, just lots of durability testing to make sure that everything was thoroughly validated, and also getting the performance of the pump to match what it needed in the truck. Like, it's what common rail fuel systems are fairly advanced, but the hardest, one of the most difficult things is that you can just put it in the truck, and like you guys did last night, you put it in the truck, you fire it up, you drive up here, and you got no problems whatsoever. You can't just throw any pump in any truck and get it to work. The pump flow versus pressure versus RPM and all that kind of stuff really has to line up with exactly what the ECM's expecting, and there's lots of details to actually make that work well. So it's been a lot of development and testing and everything to get this pump performance to where you can just put it in the truck and go.
Go ahead, sir.
If it was as easy as just slapping any pump in, there'd be lots of them out there. But honestly, we like it that it's hard, because that means that we can be one of the few or the only ones to do it.
That's what I was trying to tell him all the time, and text me. I was like, man, get this thing on belt drive, get on the front of the motor, reverse rotation, and go. Wish it had been gone, but this was the right way to do it. He was correct. I was wrong. So I give my hats off to him for that. I just kept thinking about this while we were sitting here talking. This is the return line on this right here. One thing that was really nice that S&S did here, if you've ever done this on these trucks, you know that the plastic keeper on that return line is absolute junk. It's awful. It's hard to get to. It's hard to manipulate it to be able to get that line free. This is just a solid multi-jawed quick connect here, so you just use your normal quick disconnect tool underneath of it and pop it off the rail, so that makes it really nice off and on. So
this just quick connects on the factory filter, and it's plug and play.
It was perfect. You know, we brought the CP4 off of this truck that we brought up. We had been having some rail issues on the truck before we did this. Months before we did this, we had an injector replacement that the owner of the truck did, and that kind of corrected that. But we were really hopeful that we would see metal shavings underneath of the FCA. We did not. It was clean. However, something we saw, and Luke kind of brought this to my attention. He tore the pump down for us, and these buckets, and I don't know if it's going to be able to show up on camera here. These buckets showed an abnormal wear on the outside of the rollers on both of them. And you can kind of, maybe you can see it better on the cam. There is a abnormal wear on that cam on the outsides of it, and that corresponded to what we saw on the rollers. So Luke said it best. At some point in this life, in this pump's life, it had ingested something through the fuel, be it lack of fuel quality or whatever that was. That just goes to show how susceptible that the components in the CP4 are, not only to the natural failure when the bucket turns perpendicular and gets out of sync, but low quality fuel that's going to start, you're going to start losing in the cam, for lack of a better word. So it definitely shows that something went through the pump. The pump survived, the truck survived. Maybe that's what took out the injector that we had to replace. You know, you really just
that's
just
possible,
don't know,
actually.
You know?
Yeah, I forgot about that, having to replace the injector. But it showed, even just changing fuel. I mean, these systems are run at extreme pressures and extreme conditions, and everything has to be just perfect. And even just changing fuel filters or doing anything like that, it's really easy to introduce a little bit of debris, and sometimes even filters, low quality filters, and it's hard to even tell sometimes. You might order what looks like the OE filter on Amazon or eBay or something like that. It's some knockoff clone, and that filter can actually introduce things. We'll get pumps and injectors sometimes that'll have actually filter material like media in them that probably changed, put a new filter on and it flushed some through. But this pump skated by, as Wade was saying, there's a couple score marks on the edge that corresponded. It's hard to tell without just the right light, but there's a couple score marks towards the outside and they line up with a roller. So this thing ate a couple little pieces of debris at one point and it squeaked by without seizing the roller up. So what happens is the tiny little piece of debris, like what caused these score marks, can get wedged between the roller and the shoe or the holder here, basically, because it's really tight clearance there. And that's what we'll see sometimes is a little piece of debris will seize in there, and then this just starts skidding instead of rolling. So it can fail like that, but they also, and this one was really close to seizing up like that, can start skidding and then cause the same failure mode. In this case, he had the disaster prevention kit on it, so he would have been protected regardless as far as his injectors and rest of the system, but the pump was pretty close to tripping up at one point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. It is impressive. The whole thing is absolutely very impressive. I like I said again, it's been one of the most highly anticipated things that I have seen in my service here. So, and great fit and finish on the whole kit. That you all. Another commitment that they make to making sure that the products that they launch are correct and well validated. They sent us a data logger along with this kit, so we've got a data log on the way up. They're reviewing the logs on that right now. Ancillary parts that they put inside of the kit to make it work for you, like this plastic holder. This comes in the kit that's got the metal. Well, this is actually not the right one, but the metal bracket. They put that because most people are going to break that when they go to get it off there. It's brittle. They include that inside the kit, so they really thought through it to make sure that you've got everything that you need on this installation to make it through. So yeah, it is great. Truck runs great. I'm going to make a statement here. I don't know if everybody's going to agree with me. I felt like it idled. The truck was a little bit quieter. I know that's what I said to you as soon as I walked through the door. I was like, I know the injection event itself has not changed, but the truck has audibly, it has a different sound to me. Maybe I am crazy. I don't know. Chris says I am. So,
the pump itself is definitely quieter, just because even when we run pumps on the test bench, CP4s are pretty loud because it's so aggressive. The spring load. The spring load is so intense on the roller, and then also it's going up and down twice every revolution. So there's just a lot of motion happening in there. And the DCR by design is just nice, even motion, 2-cylinder deal. And so we can hear a difference on the test bench. There's lots of factors that happen in the truck. Some people have, seen improvements in different ways that are a little more subjective. So we don't want everybody to expect anything in particular, but you're not the first to say that you thought it actually ran a little quiet, or it sounded quieter. So.
Well, this whole trip has been super informative. Beautiful shop. Up here at S&S, this is my first time up, and it shouldn't have been. We were super close. I should have been here before, but this is a great place, great people. This has been a great partnership that we have with S&S Diesel. They make our jobs easy. They really do, and they put the best products in your all's hands for sure. So, DCR pump, we're saying right now, this is, I don't even know what day it is. I've kind of got lost, but the middle of June, this is going to be released 2023. We're going to start taking pre-orders, and Luke's got pumps stacked up all over here, trying to get ready and get ramped up and get these kits built. He's got a whole fleet of people putting them together for us. So, yeah, DCR pump conversion. If you got a 6.7 Powerstroke, get one.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's at for sure.
We appreciate the partnership, and you guys are an awesome development partner and commercial partner for sure. So
thank you all for having us up and just making a great kit. So check our installation video out. If you guys have got any questions on the DCR pump, I'm sure we're going to be bouncing around on social media all day on the way back to Kentucky. So we'll be glad to answer any questions for you that you have. And Luke and Wade, thanks for watching.
Thanks.